Welcome to Shots Fired. I'm Brad Freakin Nolen, and tonight with me, I have the legend himself,
Travis Keene.
Nick Bell couldn't be with us tonight. He is in the midst of a grueling softball game. He will be bringing his picks later on in the week. We are live in Cana, Virginia, to bring you our Week 10 picks. But first, Travis, update us on the standings.
All right. I had a good week last week. Only missed 3 games. Went back ahead of Bradley. I've got an overall record of 88 wins and 44 losses. Bradley's not too far behind, though. He's only 2 games back at 86 and 46 and bringing up the rear. Is Nick Bell with 85 wins and 47 losses, 3 games behind me and 1 game behind Bradley.
So, still close. Going into last week, I think we were all tied. And as of right now, Travis is in the lead. Nick's going through a table. So we'll see what happens after this week.
Yeah.
Travis, anything interesting that happened last week in the NFL that we should touch on?
Yes. Aaron Rodgers, who many people consider to be the greatest of all time, going 2 of 7 for a grand total of 15 yards in the fourth quarter against the Patriots. Not to mention, the week before against the Rams on third down, he was only 2 for 9. So I think that's pretty interesting stuff right there.
But let's talk about how against the Rams, his kick returner fumbled. And let's talk about against the Patriots, how Aaron Jones fumbled in the midst of them getting ready to score a touchdown. So the last 2 weeks, he's had 2 crucial fumbles by teammates that he couldn't control. It was out of his hands.
Yeah, that aspect of it's true. I'll give you that. That's certainly true, especially in the Rams game.
Another thing to mention from last week, a lot of people I hadn't heard talk about is Adam Thielen. His 100 yards per game streak is now over. He only had 22 yards last week.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
And I didn't hear anyone mention it, and I thought that was pretty interesting. So
I guess Darius Slay must have been covering him most of the day. He's a pretty good corner.
Yeah, so that long streak is now over.
Wow. I honestly had no idea. And Saints and Rams had a big game. Of course, Saints coming out on top. A lot of people has been asking this week, are the Saints the team to beat in the NFC? What do you think, Bradley?
I think they are. I think they're the best team in football right now, honestly. And then today they picked up Dez Bryant.
Yeah, they did.
Which I don't think that's the big, huge deal. I think he's going to be a nice role player for him.
That's exactly what I think.
Not a game changer by any means, but he'll do enough to help him out, but nothing special.
It's hard to argue against the fact that they're the team to beat in the NFC. I mean, they went to Minnesota the week before. They won with defense. This past week, they won with offense. Just showing you different ways they can win. It's going to be tough, especially if they can somehow get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. It's going to be tough to go into that dome and win in the playoffs. But I still think the Rams can get the number 1 seed because I think their division's easier than Carolina, or not Carolina, but New Orleans' division. So we'll have to see how it all plays out, though.
A team a lot of people are sleeping on and hasn't got a lot of love this year that I think is going to make a run here second half of the season is the Philadelphia Eagles. They're coming off their bye, and I see them stringing together a few wins to end the year and getting some momentum heading toward the playoffs. Adding Golden Tate's going to help them a lot. So don't sleep on the Eagles.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think Golden Tate's a good football player. I definitely think he's going to help the Eagles out, make them better.
Eagles should be 6-2 right now, but they blew two huge leads, so that puts them at 4-4. But easily they could be 6-2. So don't sleep on them.
I'm a Panthers fan. I admit they should have beat Carolina. They had the game in the bag, and how they lost, it's beyond me. And of course, Tennessee was at that game, and that one probably baffles me more than Carolina because I think Carolina's a lot better than Tennessee. But either way, Bradley's right though.
All right, Trav, let's get into these Week 10 picks.
All right, big game tomorrow night, a good Thursday night game. Sometimes you don't always get a good matchup like this on Thursday night, but tomorrow night, we're privileged to see a good matchup, or at least on paper, I think, anyhow. The Carolina Panthers coming off a good win. I'm not going to say a great win, but a good win against a division rival in Tampa Bay. Traveling on a short week up to Heinz Field in Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, who are also coming off a big road win against Baltimore. It's a big matchup, interconference matchup. Who you got, Bradley, and why?
I got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning at home. I told Clay Shelton last night that I thought Pittsburgh was going to win this game. I feel pretty confident about it. It being in Pittsburgh is going to be a big advantage. And I see them winning a close game. I'm going to say 28-25, kind of an odd score, but that's the score that just popped in my head. So, yeah, I like the Steelers at home.
And I don't know if I'm going with it because I'm biased, but I don't know. I think Carolina's somehow going to find a way to win this game on the road tomorrow night in Pittsburgh. I've just got a gut feeling. I just think they will. And Big Ben, he's banged up. He hurt his shoulder in the game against Baltimore Sunday. Now he's on a short week. So I think that could play a factor, especially if Carolina can get after Big Ben, put some pressure on him. And Pittsburgh's defense isn't the best, so I think Carolina can do well on offense in this game. As long as North Turner, which he was this past Sunday, of course, Tampa Bay's defense, I think, is worse than Pittsburgh, especially right now. But I think Carolina can do enough on offense. The defense worries me a little bit. I think on offense, I think Pittsburgh may slightly be better, just for the fact that Antonio Brown's such a special player. But I don't think their offense is better by too awful much. And on defense, I give the edge to Carolina. I think they got more playmakers on defense than Pittsburgh's got. But anyhow, I had a vision today, and I think Pittsburgh's going to be up by 2, and Carolina's going to drive down the field. I know this is crazy. Probably ain't going to happen this way, but this is the way I see it in my head. It's going to be a big 3rd or 4th down play late in the game, and Cam's going to find Greg Olsen, and he's going to make a catch and come in clutch like always. And then old Graham Gano is going to trot out there, and he's going to kick a game-winning field goal. And I think Carolina's going to win 31-30. It's going to be a really good game. I'm excited for it.
The key matchup to watching this game is Pittsburgh's receivers versus Carolina's secondary.
Yeah.
I feel like Pittsburgh's receivers are going to have a good day.
They good.
Carolina's secondary, I think, is still suspect. If that's a weakness that Carolina has, it's their secondary.
Yeah, I agree with that totally.
But also Pittsburgh's secondary is a weakness.
Yep, that's true.
Carolina's receivers are nowhere near the level that Pittsburgh's are, so I think that's going to be the factor in the game.
And that was why I gave the edge to Pittsburgh's offense, basically just what you said alone. Because Antonio Brown, I mean, you could argue he's the best receiver in football. And, of course, Juju Smith-Schuster, he's a heck of a number 2 guy. Of course, for Carolina, you got Greg Olsen. He's solid. And, I mean, you got just a bunch of other guys, mainly mixed in. Funches, Curtis Samuel. I can't think of everybody off the top of my head, but I give the advantage to Pittsburgh. As far as quarterbacks go, it's... Honestly, I think Cam at this point's a little bit better than Big Ben. I ain't going to say a lot, but I do think he's a little bit better.
Honestly, I think the quarterback matchup's dead even in this game.
Yeah, I think it is too. And running backs, I'd probably give a slight edge to, honestly, Carolina. I think McCaffrey's just a special player.
Over Connor?
Yes, that ain't taking nothing away from Connor. I got a lot of respect for him. He's done well this year. I just think McCaffrey brings a little bit more to the table.
I think Connor's going to have a better game than McCaffrey, but they'll both have good games.
But it's going to be a good game. I expect it, honestly, turn into a high-scoring affair. And it's going to be interesting. Carolina, not knocking the Eagles, but they got a big road win in Philadelphia, and I'd say they're probably about the same as tough environment to play in. So, I mean, if they go into Philly and win, I don't see why they can't do it in Pittsburgh. And I think Philly overall is a little bit better than Pittsburgh. So, That's just another reason why I honestly picked Carolina, just based off of that alone, too. But it's going to be a good game. I can't wait to watch it. I get off work at 8:30 tomorrow night, so I'll be heading home to watch it. Got it DVR'd. I missed a little bit of it, but I'll catch up to it. But anyhow, I guess we're ready to move on here to the next game. When this, and I was telling Bradley earlier, I'm having a tough time deciding this one. The Washington Redskins traveling to Raymond James Stadium down in Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. The Redskins are coming off of I expected it to happen, but not the fashion it did. A brutal, like a beatdown, a shellacking that took place in our nation's capital last week against Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Of course, Buccaneers, they rolled into Carolina. Of course, I was there at that game, and they didn't look too good, despite the fact they did fight back and make it interesting toward the end. But anyhow, that's the matchup we got down in Tampa, and I'm going to let Bradley kick us off here.
I like the Buccaneers at home winning this game. Their offense is just too much. I'm pretty sure they still have the number one offense in football, despite the fact that they're not, that great of a team overall. And Washington's secondary the last few weeks has been dreadful. So I could see Fitzpatrick going off on that defense. Washington hasn't been playing too well the last few weeks. The games they do win are close and against bad teams. I like the Buccaneers in this one. I'm pretty confident about it. I could see them winning by 2 scores, honestly. I'm going to go 31-17.
I'm going to take Tampa, too, as well. Just had a thought go through my head. Tampa's defense, despite the fact they're overall bad, is good at stopping the run. So I think if they can hold Peterson in check, I think they're going to find a way to win this game. And I agree with Bradley. He had a lot of good points about Fitzpatrick and the offense. That game is in Tampa. I think that'll help him out some, too. And it's going to be a good game, though. I think it could. What surprised me at all, Washington won. I was telling Bradley earlier, I was thinking about flipping a coin over it. Thought it was so even, but then all of a sudden I just had that thought pop through my head about how Tampa stops the run. So if they can stop Peterson, I do think they'll win. That's going to be tough to do, though, I think. But it's going to be close. I'm actually going to go a 1-point game again. We'll go 35-34 Tampa Bay, and what I think is going to be a really good game. All right, I guess we'll move on to the next game here. We've got the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Chiefs.
This will probably be the biggest margin of victory of the week. I see the Chiefs blowing them out easily. Not much to say on this, but I do have an interesting fact about the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs have won every single coin toss this season. All 9 games, they've won the coin toss. That's insane. So I thought that was interesting. I'll throw that out there. But it's about the only thing interesting about this matchup. See if they can win the coin toss another week. Because this game, it's over before it even gets started.
Yeah, I seen that on Facebook too about the coin toss. That was interesting. But, it's on paper. Shouldn't even be a contest. Kansas City should blow these guys out of the water, especially at Arrowhead Stadium. If I was a Chiefs fan, if I was going to the game, I'd honestly have a hard time getting pumped up for the game. Because, it's just, I just don't see Arizona's going to compete with them. I really don't. Just not much to look forward to in this contest. I think the Chiefs, I'm going to give them, I'm going to go 45-14. It's going to be a shellacking. I guess we'll move on to the next one. I wasn't too much to say about that one. Here's an ugly matchup, but at least it's more even in terms. Not a blowout or nothing, I don't believe. The Buffalo Bills making the short little trip to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Jets.
I'm going to go with the Jets at home. Being at home, I think they're going to come out on top. If this game was in Buffalo, I would say it would be a toss-up. But the Jets being at home, they got a pretty good home field advantage. Not the best, but I feel like they'll be enough to beat the Bills. Bills are just, I say it every week how horrible they are. They get worse every week. Nathan Peterman last week threw 3 interceptions, and his QBR went up. That's how bad he is. So, the Bills are just they're a sad little organization right now. Probably searching for that number 1 overall pick in the draft next year. Looking forward to it. But yeah, give me the Jets pretty easily. I'm going to go 26-13.
Yeah, I like the Jets as well. Buffalo, there just ain't too much to say about them. They're just a really bad football team. And it's odd. They competed with New England on that Monday night game, I guess about 2 weeks ago. And it was close through 3 quarters. And then this Sunday against Chicago, they just got blown out of the water. It wasn't even a contest at all. And the Jets, I don't understand the Jets, really, how they got swept by Miami. I still think they're a better football team than Miami, but record won't show it. They went 0-2 against them this year. And on the top of that, I'm surprised that Brock Osweiler beat the Jets. And I'm going to give out a shout-out here to old Leslie Strat. He's a Dolphins fan. Seen him at basketball last night, and I said something to him about how about them Dolphins, and he looked at me. He said, they suck. And then he said, I about believe I could play a better quarterback than Brock Osweiler, if that tells you anything, coming from Leslie Strat. But anyhow, not going to try to get off subject too much. I do like the Jets at home. I just don't think the Bills have enough. I mean, it might be a decent game, maybe a sneaky good game if Buffalo plays well, but I just don't see it. I'm going to go with the Jets. I'm going to go 28-6 Jets. I guess we'll move on to the next game. The AFC South showdown. The Jacksonville Jaguars going to Lucas Oil Stadium to take on the Colts. Jaguars are coming off a bye week. Played in London 2 weeks ago against the Eagles.
Colts are coming off a bye too, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, they are, yes. So, that's the matchup we have. I guess I'll let Bradley take it away.
Give me them Colts at home. I've been saying I think they're going to sneak up and make some noise in the AFC South. I like them at home in this one. Jaguars are trending in the wrong direction. Colts are trending in the right direction. Andrew Luck's having a heck of a year. I think they're going to do it. I'm pretty confident in this one. Give me the Colts 27-19.
I like the Colts as well in this game, especially at home. I just can't foresee Blake Bortles going into Indy and winning over Andrew Luck. I think Andrew Luck's a whole lot better than Blake Bortles. Of course, there's a lot of guys that's better than Blake Bortles on top of that, but yeah, I like the Colts. Jacksonville's just got a lot of issues, a lot of problems. Of course, when they was over in London, I think I read something about them running up a bar tab or something over there for like $60,000, and 3 of the 4 guys were starters on defense to beat it all. They just got a lot of problems. I think the coach, Doug Marrone, and Bortles is feuding. Because I know before they went to London, I can't remember who they played. I think it was Houston. At home, Bortles threw a bunch of picks, and Marrone benched them, and they said Bortles was mad at him. And it's just a lot of drama, it seems like, in Jacksonville. It's just, I mean, to me, it's surprising. I mean, because you look at the year they had last year, they had a good year last year. I mean, they went to the AFC Championship game and up in Foxborough and gave the Patriots all they can handle in Foxborough. If I'm not mistaken, they were up by 10 in the fourth quarter. So they were right there to go to the Super Bowl.
Another thing, though, about last year, like I've said before, they faced, they didn't have to face Andrew Luck or Deshaun Watson at all last year. Now they're having to face those guys, so.
That's very true. Both those guys are good players, too.
That's essentially 4 losses right there.
Yeah. But, yeah, I like the Colts. Bradley's made a good point. They're going to be rising up in the FC South. I don't think they're going to catch Houston. I don't think they played Houston yet. Or have. No, they played them at home. Houston went into Indy earlier in the year and won.
Yeah, that was their first shootout game. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think they're going to catch Houston. Houston's on a roll right now. Despite the fact they haven't played the greatest competition, they've still won 6 in a row. But if everything was to miraculously break right, now I still don't see it happening. The Colts may contend for a wild card. But I just don't even think they're going to quite get to that. That's nothing against Luck. I just don't think the defense is good enough to get them to that point. But anyhow, in this game, I'm going to go with the Colts. I'm going to go 30-17 Indianapolis at home.
The Colts are trending in a good direction, even looking forward to the future. They invested in their offensive line in the draft, and now it's showing.
Yeah.
With Marlon Mack tearing it up. If they don't make the playoffs this year, I think they definitely will next year. They're going to be a team to deal with in the coming future, next 5 years or so. So watch out for the Colts.
Andrew Luck's a stud. If they can just get the right pieces around him, I think that team's going to thrive. I really like Andrew Luck a lot. I got a whole lot of respect for him. He's a really good guy. But I guess we'll move on here. It's a pretty good little matchup. NFC North showdown. Got the Detroit Lions going to Chicago to Soldier Field to take on the Bears.
I like the Bears. Pretty confident in the Bears. Detroit struggling a little bit. They have a good running game finally, but other than that, you can't say much about them. They lost, they traded Golden Tate. And I guess they're going to lean toward running the ball now more, but I don't see them going into Chicago winning. I like the Bears easy. I'm going to go 34-17.
Yeah, I like the Bears as well in this game. I think Chicago, if they're smart, is going to go run heavy in this game. Detroit's not good at stopping the run, so I expect a big old dosage of Jordan Howard, who I think is a good back. Maybe sprinkle in a little bit of Tariq Cohen. He's good at catching passes out of the backfield, a quick little cat. I just don't think... I've said for the longest time I think Detroit's offense is good, but I think they took a step back by getting rid of Golden Tate. I still think they're good, but I don't think they was on the level they were on before they got rid of him. And I just don't think they're going to be able to do enough. Chicago's defense is pretty good. Khalil Mack's a beast. I mean, I feel like I said a lot, he'll be a difference maker. That's about every game with him, though. He's just that talented of a player. And as long as Trubisky can just manage the game and everything, I just think Chicago's going to get the win at home. I just don't think Detroit's going to be able to go into Chicago and win. It's probably going to be cold that day, too, in Chicago on top of that. Of course, Detroit's a dome team, so that's going to hurt them as well, I feel like. But, yeah, I like Chicago. I do think it's a decent matchup. I think Chicago's too much, especially at home. And if I ain't mistaken, I think these same two teams may be meeting on Thanksgiving Day. I'm not for sure. But anyhow, of course, that Thanksgiving Day, if they do meet, would be in Detroit. But
why do the Lions always play on Thanksgiving? That's a odd thing.
I got to see that. That's intriguing the fire out of me.
They probably do. They're always playing on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the Lions I know are. Let's see. Yeah, it is Bears and Lions at 12:30 on Thanksgiving Day. I thought I was right about that. But anyhow, yeah, Chicago, I think, is going to get this one at home. I'm going to go with the Bears. I'm going to go 27-14 Chicago. We'll move on to the next game. The New Orleans Saints traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals.
It's who dat versus who dey in a matchup this Sunday, and I'm going with the who dat Saints. Bengals losing A.J. Green will hurt them quite a bit, but not on the level most would think, because they have Tyler Boyd and John Ross, and they have a great running back in Joe Mixon. So their offense might take a slight step back, not too much. But I'm going with the Saints on the road. Like I said, I think they're the best team in football. And a road test in Cincinnati is not going to slow them down. I'm going to go with the Saints 34-23.
I'm going to go with the Saints as well in this game. I hate to say it, unlike you, I think losing A.J. Green is a huge blow to Cincinnati's offense. I really do think that. And even if A.J. Green was playing, I would honestly still pick the Saints. Even with it being in Cincinnati, I'd still pick the Saints if he were playing. That's just how much better I think the Saints are than the Bengals. I think Sean Payton's honestly leaps and bounds better than Marvin Lewis. That's just my personal opinion, too, when it comes to coaching. And, of course, Drew Brees, Andy Dalton, that don't hold a candle to him. That's just the truth. And, I mean, I do think Joe Mixon's a good back, but I think Kamara's actually even better. And then, of course, you throw in Mark Ingram. And the Bengals secondary, they're not going to be able to stop Michael Thomas and all them weapons. And Cincinnati may find a way to put up points. I mean, New Orleans' defense is suspect still, I believe, but I just don't see Andy Dalton outdueling Drew Brees. And I just think the Saints are a complete team. I think they're Super Bowl contenders. I ain't saying they're going to get there and win it, but I'm saying they're right there in the midst of it, no doubt. And Cincinnati, at best, is maybe a playoff team. That's just a maybe. I don't even know yet. And they probably won't be if they don't get A.J. Green back, by the way. But anyhow, I'm going to go with the Saints in this game. I'm going to go 35-20 Saints. We'll move on to the next game. Got the New England Patriots traveling to Nissan Stadium in the Music City of Nashville, Tennessee to take on the Tennessee Titans.
This game has sneaky good upset potential, I feel like. A lot of people are going to be surprised by that. But Tennessee's a sneaky team, and they grind out and find ways to win when you don't think they're going to. So I could see this being a really close game. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee upset them. But I'm going to pick New England in a close one. New England's somewhat banged up. Gronk's been banged up. Sony Michel's been banged up. But Mike Vrabel, coaching Tennessee, former Patriot, might know some of the tricks Bill Belichick has up his sleeve. So I think this is going to be a really interesting game. I'm going to go Patriots 26-23.
I like the Patriots as well, and honestly love everything you just said. I've sort of been thinking that too. Tennessee prides itself on being a tough physical football team and grinding things out. And they went down to Dallas Monday night, and I don't know if you want to call it a nice win, but they got the win in Dallas nonetheless. Played fairly well, I guess I would say. Of course, I ain't saying a whole lot with it being Dallas, but that's just the cold hard truth.
Shots fired.
I know the Bowmans love the Cowboys, but I'm sure they would agree. They know the Cowboys are just in flux, I guess would be the way to put it. Just don't understand Dallas, but we'll get to that here in a little bit.
Oh,
anyhow, yeah, I think this is going to be a really... I think it's going to be a good game. I really do, believe it or not. And, man, Bradley's probably going to laugh. I'd about like to be at that game out in Old Tennessee. I think it's going to be a good one.
Nah, I wouldn't want to be there. I have bad memories of that place.
But I just, I know, is Gronkowski playing, do you know?
I think he's questionable. I think he will play, but him anymore, he's just so injury prone. Even if he does play, he might exit the game again.
I mean, that's definitely true. Either way, I'd still pick New England. I was just asking to be asking, but it's just hard for me to pick against New England. They have won 6 in a row. They're starting to assert their dominance, about like they do every year. If this game was in New England, I mean, I don't even think it would be in question. In Tennessee, it's a little bit in question, but I don't think enough to even think about picking Tennessee. But I like Marcus Mariota. I don't see why some people hate on him and think he's bad. I really don't think he's bad. I really do not. I just think he needs to be in the right system and have a few more playmakers around him. I really think he's a good quarterback. I feel bad for the young man that he gets much hate. I don't understand why. I really don't. He's a good guy. And he plays the right way and stuff.
I'm not high on him, to be honest. I think he's below average, in my opinion.
I disagree. I think he's better than average. I really do think that. But I'm going to go with New England in this game. I'm going to go odd score 29-23 New England. We'll move on here to the next game. The Atlanta Falcons are in Cleveland, Ohio, taking on the Browns Sunday afternoon.
The Atlanta Falcons have hit their stride here in the young season. And I see them going into Cleveland and putting a whooping on the Browns. The way they played against Washington last week, against a pretty solid defense as far as the front seven goes. And they just dominated from start to finish. And I could see that happening again this week in Cleveland. They might make a push for the playoffs when it's all said and done, despite their injuries and whatnot. But I'm going to go Falcons in this one. I'm going to go 37-24.
Rise up. I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons in this game. I felt even more confident about this one than I did the Washington game last week. And I was confident in that, and I feel even more confident this week. Cleveland, they're starting to trend in their own direction. It's beyond me why they fired Hugh Jackson. I don't understand that. He had a bad record, but you got to look at it this way. He didn't have a lot to work with, especially in years prior to this year. And then this year, all of a sudden, they get rid of Carlos Hyde, who was doing good for him. I don't understand that at all. I really don't. And not to mention, they got rid of Josh Gordon.
And I think the biggest loss,
Todd
Haley was the biggest question mark because he's a great offensive coordinator.
I just don't understand the ownership and the management in Cleveland. I really don't. I do like Baker Mayfield. I am high on him, but he's not going to be able to outdo Matt Ryan and all that Falcons offense. He's going to have to resent to the Browns defense, who, by the way, he's been banged up. And that's going to make things even tougher to slow down the high-octane offense like Atlanta. I mean, it is in Cleveland. And I did check the weather. It's only going to be like 36 degrees, which is cold. Some people say, Atlanta can't handle the cold, but I think they'll be just fine. Matt Ryan did go to Boston College, so he knows a thing or two about cold weather. I ain't dumb. But and shout out to my boy Julio Jones. He got his first touchdown last week. Might be the first of many to come. But,
congratulations, Julio. It's about time.
That's funny. Bradley mentioned the Falcons being a playoff team. I was thinking about that. At some point this week, that crossed my mind. And I was thinking how I think Seattle going into the game last week against Chargers, which they lost, was the 6th seed. And I think Atlanta's better than Seattle. Seattle plays an easier division. But I think Atlanta could very well make the playoffs. Their defense starting to come around and play better. Guys that's been in there having to play for the injured guys is getting some reps, and they're getting better. Dan Quinn's a good defensive-minded football coach, too, on top of that. In Atlanta, hey, wouldn't count these guys out, especially a team that's led by Matt Ryan, future Hall of Famer. But
I don't know about that.
Anyhow, I'm going to go with Atlanta in this game. I am going to go 37-21 Atlanta. We'll move on to the next game. AFC West Showdown, if you want to call it that. Los Angeles Chargers traveling to the Black Hole in Oakland to take on the Raiders.
Chargers going to win this game easy. They went into Seattle in a game I thought Seattle would win, and they beat them pretty convincingly. I definitely think they're going to go into Oakland and win. Oakland is just sad. I mean, I thought if all teams they should have beat San Francisco last week with a third-string quarterback, and then they got blew out. So you know they're going to get beat down by Phillip Rivers in that offense. So give me the Chargers. I'm going to go 34-13.
There's not much to talk about in this game. Chargers going to blow these guys out of the water, I expect. Bradley made a good point, although I know Bradley, of course, Nick, being a Seahawks fan, especially if he thinks it's close, he's probably going to pick Seattle. But even Bradley thought they'd beat the Chargers. I never thought that would happen. I had the Chargers winning that game all along. I really did. I'm starting to believe it was a fluke Seattle went to Detroit and won the way they did, honestly, before that game against Chargers at home. But, I mean, my gosh, if the 49ers or the third-string quarterback puts 34 up on the Niners, or up on the Raiders, I meant to say, then, Lord have mercy, imagine what Phillip Rivers and that offense is going to do against them. Good Lord. Phillip Rivers, he might not have to play but one half in this game. If they have it locked up, if I was coach, I'd take him out, not even risk an injury to him. Because Chargers are in a pretty good position. They're still right there on the Kansas City's heels, right there for the division lead. Only one game out, I believe it or not. And actually, that's funny. That came up, I noticed, on Football Night in America, the pregame show on NFC with Rodney Harrison and Tony Dungy. I think it was Rodney Harrison said he thinks Chargers are potential Super Bowl contenders.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks they can beat the Chiefs, and I can't say wouldn't agree with them. I ain't saying they will, but I think they got a chance. They ain't even got Joey Bosa back yet. If he can come back strong and healthy, that D-line's going to get even better. And exciting times to be a Chargers fan. And I like old Phillip Rivers. He competes his tail off. And, of course, he probably going to have to compete awful hard this week with who they're playing. But, yeah, I like the Chargers. Poor old John Gruden, I think I've said it before, he probably wishes he's about back in the booth by now on Monday night. I honestly do, too. I like hearing him talk a lot better than I do Jason Witten. That's nothing against him. I just think Gruden was better at that. But I do have all the respect in the world for Jason Witten, though. He was a class act when he played football. But
John Gruden, I think, is looking to rebuild.
yeah,
So
he is.
this year, wouldn't even put this against him. I think he's just looking forward to building a team with guys he likes, and he's going to rebuild through the draft. So, yeah, just look forward to the Raiders in Las Vegas. Don't worry about this Oakland stint with John Gruden.
I agree with that. Give him 3 or 4 years, But anyhow, I'm going to go to the Chargers. I'm going to go 42 to 13 Chargers. Going to be a blowout. Should be. Moving on to the next game. NFC West Showdown. The Seattle Seahawks traveling to the LA Memorial Coliseum to take on the Rams. These two teams just met not long ago in Seattle. Seattle gave the Rams all they can handle. But this time it's at LA, though.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rams at home. I think they'll win pretty easy. Seattle couldn't win last week at home against the Chargers, and I think the Rams are a better team than the Chargers. They're going on the road to face them. Rams are going to be upset after losing to the Saints and no longer being undefeated. So they're going to have something to prove. I like the Rams winning this game. I'm going to say 28-17.
I like the Rams as well and feel pretty confident about it. Wouldn't surprise me if it turns into a blowout. Although Nick said it 1,000 times, I'm starting to think he's right. Russell Wilson just never gets blown out. So, I mean, who knows? But Seahawks surprised me when they played the Rams first go-around up at Century Elite Field in Seattle. Of course, that environment's tough for anybody to play in. But I think especially LA being at home and on top of that, they know they're going to get Seattle's best shot, I believe, especially Russell Wilson. That guy's a competitor. And I don't even know if they necessarily overlooked them in Seattle. I don't know. The crowd might have got to them. I don't know. They barely squeaked out a win, though. I know that. But I think it's going to be... It ain't going to be as close this time around in LA, I don't believe. I'm going to go with the Rams. Especially them coming off the loss to the Saints. They're going to be ticked off, too, like Bradley said on top of that. So... Of course, Seattle coming off a loss as well. I'm going to go 31-17 Rams. 31-17. Moving on to the next game. The Miami Dolphins traveling to Lambeau Field, which may be the frozen tundra Sunday afternoon to take on the Green Bay Packers.
Those Miami boys going to be in for a surprise if it's cold up there in Green Bay. They're going to be in for a long, long day. Facing that.
It's cold. It's only going to be in the 20s. I checked the weather for it.
Facing that bad man Aaron Rodgers. Oh, man. He's going to put on a show like usual. Packers going to win this game easy. I'm going to go 34-16. Rodgers going to have a big day. Hopefully his teammates won't let him down again like they have the last 2 weeks. And hopefully that man can get some help for once. It's a shame. Best player in the NFL can't get no help. I'd love to see that man on a different team that's going to help him build around him, get him some weapons. But I like the Packers.
I don't like Green Bay, but gotta obviously pick them this week. I would be honestly shocked if Miami went up to Green Bay and won, especially given what the weather is going to be like. And it's also a 4:25 game. So don't make no sense why that's not a 1 o'clock game, but that's just me, though. But anyhow, it ain't much to say about it, really. It's just going to be a blowout. Brock Osweiler, he's not a very good quarterback. He ain't too much higher than Nathan Peterman. He's higher than him, but he ain't a lot better. Ain't like he's leaps and bounds better. And I will say this, if Green Bay somehow does lose, which I would love to see happen, but I don't see it happen. And I already think their season's over anyhow. I don't even give them a chance to make the playoffs. I definitely don't think they're going to make it if they was to lose this game here. That'd be a huge setback. But I don't think they will, though. I'm going to go with Green Bay. I'm going to go 34-7 Green Bay. It's just going to be a blowout. Moving on to the next game. The Sunday night game. And honestly, Bradley made history. I think there could be better options for a Sunday night game this week. Nothing against his Eagles. But anyhow, the Dallas Cowboys are traveling to Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia on a short week to take on the Eagles.
Oh, me. Cowboys fans thought they were upset Monday night after that loss. That ain't a drop in the bucket to how mad they're going to be after this game. Eagles are going to blow them away. It's not even going to be a contest. And I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a full-fledged beatdown. Take them out behind the woodshed. Dak Prescott, he's going to be in for one heck of a night. I like the Eagles winning this game big. It's my lock of the week. 34-13. Cannot wait to see the tears rolling off the faces of Cowboys fans throughout the night. Hearing all the complaints. Not going to mention any names, but you know who you are. Can't wait to see what you got to say about it afterwards. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Let's go. Can't wait to see Golden Tate out there in the Eagles uniform. Think he'll have a pretty good game. I think that whole team's going to have a good game against the Cowboys. It's a lock. Eagles, 34-13.
Couldn't agree more. It's pretty much locked in my opinion. I'd be shocked if Dallas was to go in there and get the win. And I said this shouldn't be the Sunday night game. It's nothing, not dissing the Eagles. I think they're a really good team. And the reason why I said that is because of the team they're playing against is why I said it for. And I was just scrolling through my phone looking at some possible matchups I think should take this game's place, but obviously it won't be by now, or they would have announced it. I think potentially the Redskins and Buccaneers could have been a good Sunday night game. Maybe the Jaguars and Colts, and believe it or not, Patriots and Titans, maybe Seahawks and Rams. But anyhow, this Sunday night game we get. So we'll have to just give us what they give us, or take what they give us.
It's a good rivalry game, though, is another reason it should be there. The NFC East games are always good, primetime matchups, so
yeah,
there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game, regardless of how bad the Cowboys are. So
Cowboys are a terrible team. I can't place his name. What in the world? I lost my mind. Eagles head coach
Peterson.
Doug Peterson. He's a million times better than Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett, in my opinion, folks, may be the worst coach in the league, and even Cowboy fans are saying it. I know a few of them that's saying it. So that tells you right there. Cowboys are just a dysfunctional organization. I just don't understand. Jerry Jones plays his favorites. That's clear to see. Jason Garrett's his yes man. Dak Prescott's not a very good QB. Or at least I don't think so. If Dallas was to win this game, well, no, I was getting ready to say they'd have to run the ball, but Philly stops the run pretty well, so there goes that. Philly, of course, they're going to want Dak to throw the ball to beat them, and I just don't think that's going to be able to do that well enough to win. especially it being in Philly. That place is going to be rocking, despite the fact that all Eagles fans pretty much know it's probably going to be a blowout. But Eagles fans are really good fans. They got a great fan base, especially up there in Philly.
And in Cana, too.
And there's no way in the world. I'd be very, very surprised if Dallas went there and won. I mean, I just don't see it.
I'd love to have a ticket to that game. It's a good day any day that the Cowboys get beat down. I'd love to be there to witness it.
But Dallas's defense, I mean, they're average, I guess. They're not going to be able to stop that Philly offense. I just ain't much to say about it. I'm going to go ahead and throw out the score. I'm going to go 38-10. I think it's going to be that big of a blowout. Eagles. Moving on to the Monday night game. Boy, we got a lousy game Monday night. I don't even think I'm going to watch it, honestly. It's really that bad. The Giants traveling out to Levi Stadium in San Francisco to take on the 49ers, a matchup that's week 9 in the year, featuring two teams, I think. 49ers got, 2 wins?
Yeah.
Giants got 1?
Yeah. Yeah, but unlike Travis, I think this is a interesting matchup. It's actually the toughest game I had to pick this week. The only one I really pondered on. The rest of them I was confident in, but this one's interesting. I could see it being a good game. I think the Giants will win simply because two guys, they have Odell Beckham and Saquon Barkley. They have the two best players on the field. And another reason, 49ers starting a third-string quarterback again, Nick Mullins. I don't think he's going to find magic 2 weeks in a row. He's lucky he had to play the Raiders in his first game. I think the Giants are slightly better. And I don't see him playing near as good as he did last week. I like the Giants in a close game. I'm going to go 28-24. I think it's going to be entertaining. I think it's going to be a very competitive game.
Can't say I disagree with any of that. I'm just saying what I'm saying, because I just know these teams ain't going anywhere in terms of playoffs, is what I meant. As far as it being a good game, I mean, yeah, it could be. But I'm going to go with the Giants. The reason why, I just don't think the 49ers third-string quarterback's going to beat the Giants, despite the fact they've only won one game. I just think Barkley's going to have a big night running the ball. I can see Eli and Odell catching fire, potentially. 49ers defense isn't good anyhow. Like I said, I just don't see, despite the fact it's in San Fran, I just don't see the third-string Mullins beating Eli, despite the fact I don't think Eli's all that great, but just saying. Ain't too much to talk about on this game. Man, it could be a good game like Bradley said, but it's just going to be hard for me to get up and watch it, considering I just know these teams ain't going nowhere. 49ers would have if Garoppolo hadn't got hurt. I don't think they would have made the playoffs, but they'd definitely be better than where they're at now. But that's a team, if you're a 49ers fan next year, you could possibly get excited about, because they're going to have probably one of the worst records in the league. If they do good in the draft, that's going to help them out. And Garoppolo, I still think, is a stud. And I like Garoppolo, and I'm hoping that this ACL injury isn't going to more or less demoralize his career. I hope that's not going to be the case, because I like him a lot. But anyhow, I'm going to go with the Giants in this game. I'm going to go 31-14 Giants.
Now, last week, we had a game featuring the two best quarterbacks of our generation, maybe the two best quarterbacks of all time. So I have a question for you, Trav.
All right.
If today you could pick, right now, who do you think the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL are?
Tom Brady, no doubt. Drew Brees. You may think I'm crazy for saying it, because he's still very little into his career, but Patrick Mahomes, how could you not say it? Especially Kansas City's got a bad defense, so he has to put up points. That's 3. You might call me biased, but I'm going to go Matt Ryan. I mean, they basically don't have too much of a defense. I will say they are playing better these last few weeks, though. Number 5, I'm going to go Let me think about this just for a second. Golly, that's tough to say. It's almost a toss-up between several people in my head. Phillip Rivers, Russell Wilson come to my mind. I'd probably honestly say Russell Wilson, a slight edge over Phillip, but it's close.
Yeah, deciding my top 5, I actually have like 10 guys I could pick from. But my top 5 would be Brady, Breeze, Mahomes, Luck, and Wentz. And then, this might surprise you, but Jared Goff should be up there. I think Jared Goff's going to be a stud.
I do agree with that.
So, those 5 guys right there, and then Jared Goff are slightly outside the top 5. Those 5 guys is who I'd want right now. Wilson would be in the top 10 definitely, but it's such a good quarterback class right now in the NFL. Best quarterback play we've probably ever seen in football is right now, and it gets better every year.
Yep,
young guys coming in, draft classes. You got rookies like Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield. It just gets better. So,
yep.
What a time to be an NFL fan.
That's true.
You got any last thoughts? Questions, comments?
This is later on in the year. You may have heard about it. They flexed out a Sunday night game. Let me find it here. It's actually next week. A Sunday night game. Am I right? Let me see. Yeah, I'm right.
Yeah.
Sunday night game next week was originally supposed to be the
Jaguars
hosting the Steelers in Jacksonville, and that's been flexed out to the Vikings traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. I think the NFL made a good call on that.
Yeah, definitely, because I don't think Jacksonville stands a chance against Pittsburgh. But yeah, Minnesota, Chicago, that's going to be a heck of a game.
Yeah,
and actually, why didn't they put in Philadelphia, New Orleans in that slot?
Troy Aikman's and Joe Buck's game. Fox has got the rights to that for 425s. Why?
That would be an amazing game. But
looking through these other games, yeah.
That's a good slate of football. Ain't the Monday night game next week Chiefs Rams
in Mexico City?
Gosh, so you got Eagles Saints at 425. You got Bears Vikings at the Sunday night game. Then you got Chiefs Rams on the Monday night game.
Good.
You
good
couldn't
right there.
You couldn't ask for a better slate of games. So almost as good as last week's.
There's another game, too, I know is going to get flexed out. I got to find it here on a Sunday night. They haven't announced it, but I'm sure it will. That one right there on the 2nd of November, or December. Niners and Seahawks. More than likely going to get flexed out.
Could be Vikings Patriots who takes the spot.
CBS or somebody would have the right to that already. Chargers Steelers pops out at me.
Yeah. Ravens Falcons possibly.
Ravens been on a downslide, though. It's the only thing there.
Yeah, there's some...
I'm calling it now. I'm thinking it's going to be the Chargers traveling to Pittsburgh. It's going to get moved to the Sunday night game. Boy, would that be fun.
Yeah.
Game. That could be a high-scoring affair. I'm hoping that's what they'll do.
I'm looking forward to... Well, I'm always looking forward to football, but this year's playoffs are going to be off the chain. So there's going to be so many good teams. I can't wait. Interesting to see who comes out and represents the AFC and the NFC in the Super Bowl. I can't wait. I'd love to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, honestly. If the Eagles don't go, I want it to be Saints versus Chiefs. I think that'd be a great matchup.
Yeah. We're basically at the halfway point of the year. So, I mean, things are starting to get interesting. Playoff race is starting to take shape. Heck, I'm just going to look it up, the standings while we're thinking about it. See where we're at here. We're basically at the halfway point. AFC, let's see. I was wanting to see if I can figure out a way to pull up the conference instead of the divisions. See, let me do it this way and see if it'll do it. Here we go, maybe. Oh, yeah, there we go. Ah, dang, I thought it well.
Travis King working his magic over here, keeping the listeners in suspense.
Maybe do it this way. Let me see. Here we go.
There we go.
It'll load up here. AFC standings look like this, folks. Right now, the Chiefs are the number 1 seed with an 8-1 record. But right on their heels is New England at 7-2. Of course, New England owns tiebreaker too, because they beat them on Sunday night. You got Chargers sitting at 6-2, and the Steelers at 5-2 for your division leaders. That is correct. No, that's wrong. The Chargers ain't a division leader. So I guess Chiefs B1, the Patriots B2.
Right now, the Chargers and the Bengals would be the wild card teams.
And I don't see the Dolphins. They're 5-4, but I don't think they're real at all.
I could see the Colts sneaking up and getting the 6th seed, honestly. Maybe
Good.
Baltimore if they get it turned around.
NFC. Whew. Rams 8-1. Saints 7-1. You got the Bears at 5-3. The Redskins at 5-3. I still think Philly's going to pass Washington and win the division. I think Philly very well could sweep Washington. They're definitely going to beat them at home. It wouldn't surprise me. The game you're going to if they win it at DC as well. Man, NFC standings are insane. 1, 2, 3, 4. Panthers are the 5 seed at 6-2. And
Vikings are
6.
6.
Of course, you got Atlanta right there at 4-4.
Seattle, Green Bay still.
Yep.
And then second place in the NFC East between Washington and Philly's right there in it too.
Wow.
So
That's insane.
it's gonna be interesting going down the stretch. A lot of interesting matchups, a lot of good games.
Yeah.
But I think we're done for this week.
Yep.
Week 10. Shots fired. I'm Brad Freakin Nolen.
I'm Travis Keen. Have a good night.
Peace out. See you later. Fly Eagles fly.